Are you ready to learn about the shadowy world of petrodollars? It's a dangerous game that's been played since 1973, and it has the potential to undermine our entire economy and has made US dollar the world's currency. The petrodollar was so powerful that it single-handedly allowed the US government to spread its influence worldwide. But recently, a significant threat is emerging in front of petrodollar, and that's exactly what we're going to discuss in this video today. Hello and welcome to PrimeTime TV. We aim to provide major world news with the maximum value and educational info so you can stay updated. Let's dive deep in with a prime question: what is petrodollar? The petrodollar was coined in 1973 when Saudi Arabia and USA signed the infamous Petrodollar Agreement. This agreement was a mutual trade-off between Saudi Arabia and USA. The USA agreed to provide arms and ammunition along with security to Saudis, and Saudis agreed to sell oil only in US dollars. This was a win-win agreement as it allowed both of these nations to become what they're today, wealthy and developed economies. When OPEC countries sell their oil only in US dollars, governments across the world are essentially forced to keep US dollars stored as reserves. This then creates a high demand for the US dollar and allows it to stabilize its prices even in an economic slowdown. A result of this was seen recently in mid-2022, when inflation was hitting the USA, but instead of a decline in the US dollar, there's a subtle increase in its prices against other major currencies. Every country, regardless of their relations with the USA, if they're not an oil producer themselves, has to maintain a reserve of US dollars to buy the oil, which is essential for the human race. Oil is so powerful that it can bend nations to their knees. There have been countless arguments, but if a nation can control oil, it can control the world. This is the case with the USA, and they took the opportunity well. But with recent turmoil of events around the global economy, the Russia-Ukraine war, tensions in the USA and China, and Saudis denying America's request, and then there's a new supposed emergence of BRICS currency. All these factors are working together to challenge the petrodollar. But what are the threats to petrodollar if it is so powerful? To understand it, let's take a round turn. Recently, around October, OPEC, which stands for the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, announced that they'll cut their oil production by only 2 million oil barrels per day. This decision was deemed necessary in order to keep prices of oil high amid an expected economic crisis. This decision sent a hostile intention to the West. Immediately, the USA requested the Saudis to change their decision. Even US President Joe Biden visited Saudi to convince Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in order to lower oil prices, but it seems to resulted in nothing except a fist bump. After this, the USA performed their routine reflex by threatening the Saudis with the quote consequences. The USA even threatened Saudi that the US would pass a no-OPEC bill, which would allow the US to bring Saudi and other OPEC members to America's legal system. But it seems to have no effect on the Saudis. Saudi aligned with Russia in order to form OPEC Plus, and then Saudi Arabia requested to join the BRICS. All these factors indicate only one thing, which is that Saudis are trying to think of some alternatives, and they're no longer exclusive to Washington. Now the main question comes as to what's being the major threat to petrodollar. Well, the answer to this is petro-yuan. Recently, Chinese leader Xi Jinping visited Saudi Arabia for a milestone summit. On the 9th of December 2022, Xi gave a speech in Riyadh at the Arab Summit, which Prince Mohammed bin Salman hosted. The event marks a significant milestone in relations between China and the Arab world. As the world's biggest oil exporter and consumer, Saudi Arabia and China both sent strong messages during Xi's visit on non-interference at a time when Riyadh's relationship with Washington has been tested over human rights, energy policy, and Russia. The shift from dollar to yuan is deemed necessary by both countries in light of the increasing weaponization of the dollar-dominated financial system, hoping the move to inject certainty into bilateral trade and dent the US dollar's monopoly of the global oil market. Any move by Saudi Arabia to ditch the dollar in its oil trade would be a seismic political move, which Riyadh had previously threatened in the face of possible US legislation exposing OPEC members to antitrust lawsuits using the America's no-OPEC bill. While China falls second to the United States in the overall economy, it has been increasingly active in West Asia as of late. Part of this is due to the global energy scene. By no longer relying on the dollar, China would give itself a significant advantage. In line with the country's political discourse, China has also expanded energy ties with Russia and Iran, as the government sees Russia as a major power with huge economic, defense, military, and technological potential, and Iran is also a large economically developed country, which has made huge progress in its defense industry. What do you think if Petro Yuan becomes a new global currency, and how will it impact the world's economy? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching the video.